In this video, I'm going to give you 10 key lessons from this very book called Stumbling on Happiness by Daniel Gilbert. Now, once you read this book will change everything you know about human beings, and this is a promise. Hi, my name is Abhishek and this is Coffee and Junk. Every Sunday, I post a new video where I talk about topics such as creativity, learning, wealth, productivity, entrepreneurship, and more. To get notified when I post a new video, do not forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now, back to the show. So in my previous video, I had recommended this book as the very first book that you should read if you're interested in psychology. And trust me, after reading this, you would realize that human beings are not rational beings who behave illogically or emotionally once in a while. We are actually emotional beings and we act kind of logically once in a while. It's the other way around. Now, without any further delay, let's get started. Lesson number 1. The human being is the only animal that thinks about the future. How interesting. I mean, unlike cats, dogs, whales, and pigeons, we imagine the future. And what happens is that the events that are easier for us to imagine, we spend time imagining them more and we kind of feel that they are more likely to happen. But that is not the case. And that inherently makes us optimistic about the future, optimistic about our future and the future of the world as well. We think that the world would be a better place tomorrow. We imagine good things about ourselves and our friends and families. We'll get better jobs, better pay, better wealth, better places to travel, we'll shift abroad. All these things we imagine, we kind of daydream. And that is what actually daydreaming is actually what drives humanity forward. How interesting. Lesson number 2, human beings have an innate desire to control things, and if we lose our ability to control, then we become sad, depressed, and kind of feel hopeless. For example, people feel more certain that they'll win the lottery if they can choose the number on their own. In casinos, people feel more confident that they can win the dice toss if they throw the dice on their own. I mean, it has got nothing to do with the actual winning, but that is what makes the difference here inside their head, and that is what really matters. Lesson number 3, nobody knows what happiness is. All we know about happiness is from somebody's point of view. For example, if a guy is stranded in the desert and if you offer him a glass of water, he would rate his happiness as, say, 8 out of 8. But if you give him the same glass of water, say, a year from now, and in a normal situation, he would rate it, say, maybe 1 or 2 out of 8. What changed? Nothing much, only the context. So we know nothing much about happiness except for that somebody is claimed from some point of view, but there is no absolute form of happiness. Lesson number 4, human beings use the present to not only imagine the future, but also influence the memories of the past. For example, if you were in a gloomy state right now, it would be kind of impossible for you to imagine that you would feel indifferent tomorrow because your brain is so busy in dealing with this present state of mind that it has a hard time imagining the future. Similarly, if you remember a happy incident from your childhood, it won't feel very happy right now because you are not in a very happy mood right now. Your present influences the future as well as the past. Lesson number 5, when you're stuck in a dire situation which is kind of inescapable, your brain triggers a psychological immune system that gives you a positive outlook of that dire situation. For example, if you're stuck in a dead-end job, then you would start to feel that maybe it's not very bad. Maybe the boss is actually cruel, but he's more cruel to other people than you. Yeah, the pay is not very good, but it's not like you are kind of starving. So you start to look life in a positive way. It gives you hope because without hope, I mean, it'll be very hard to go on. So that is the trick the brain plays with us. Lesson number 6, we do not think in absolutes, we think in relatives. For example, you would drive miles across town to say save $50 on a $100 product. But saving $50 wouldn't even occur to you if you are gonna go and buy a car which costs say $100,000, right? So $50, the amount is the same whether you save in a product that costs $100 or say $100,000, but you think in relatives. You know, it's kind of minuscule in front of a car. $50 saving on a car doesn't even make sense. But if it's a small product, say a camera or something, then yeah, $50 means a lot. Lesson number 7, if you try to be deliberately happy, it kind of backfires. In an experiment, while listening to music, a group of people were asked to feel happy deliberately, and another group, say group B, were asked to only listen to the music and don't worry about the happiness. What happened at the end was that group A, who were trying to be happy deliberately, kind of ended up in a far worse mood than they started off with. So do not try to be happy. If somebody tells you, hey, kind of be happy, cheer up, what are you so down about? Tell them, hey man, it doesn't work that way. If I try to be happy consciously, it kind of backfires. Lesson number 8, we may not always see ourselves as superior, but we make it a point to make ourselves look different than others. So in a study, what happened was that people were asked about generosity, and a lot of them claimed that, hey, I'm more generous, I do far more generous deeds than the average people. And when a lot of people were asked about selfishness, they claim to do even more selfish deeds than the other people. So it's not about being good or being bad. It's more about being different. Hey, I do good things and bad things as well. I'm kind of different. What do you say? Lesson number 9. Objects are fine on their own until they become ours. If you have ever assembled an IKEA furniture, once you put everything together and it becomes the object it's supposed to be, it starts to look even better than, say, the identical furniture that your friend has built, because you have created it. You've got an attachment to it because it's yours now. And the same thing happens, say, when you fall in love, you start to see all sorts of qualities in your partner that was not very obvious before you know that person. It's not even visible to the other friends or family members. And the same thing happens when you, say, choose a candidate to vote. You see all these awesome qualities that other people, especially who have chosen other candidates to vote, are kind of oblivious to. So that is what happens when you make things your own. You start to see things that other cannot see. Lesson number 10, wealth does not matter. What matters is utility, and this is something we always forget. We do not really care about the money or the promotion or the beach vacation per se. Deep down, very inside, deep down, we really care is the pleasure, the value, or the recognition they bring. Recognition after buying a big house, recognition from having the latest iPhone, or maybe the awesome car that is in the market. So we don't really want the car, we want the value it brings, right? And that is how we make decisions. That is what influences our decisions. That is all for today. These are the key lessons from this excellent book. And as a disclaimer, you should definitely read this book. This video is not a summary of this book. This video is to make you curious enough to read this book completely page to page. It will change your life for the better. Trust me or not. This is a very simple book, very easy to read, very fun to read. It has a nice sense of humor, a lot of Shakespeare. I mean, he quotes Shakespeare, so he loves Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare, so you're good to go. And if you've read the book already and I've missed something that you think I should have mentioned, just put it in the comments, then we'll see what we can do about it. To learn more about the strategies and principles of creativity, learning, and wealth, make sure to visit my website. It's called coffeeandjunk.com, and I've written about 150 essays on this topic till date. So it's a treasure, it's a wealth of knowledge. Go and read and have fun. And do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'll see you soon. Till then, peace.